Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to another video. I have not posted a regular video in a little bit, simply because the week before the competition I was lazy and not working out. Obviously, the couple days before I didn't do any workouts, so Thursday, Friday I didn't work out. Wednesday was my last workout, which I went to essentially failure on snatch. I went up snatch 120, then missed 125 behind, and then missed 130 twice, and that was all I did Wednesday. And the day before was I posted some shorts of some highlights of some of the stuff. So the Tuesday was a heavy front squat and the jerk, which was a jerk PR randomly. Um, and then Monday, I believe, was my last heavy day where I did both of the lifts together. And those all went really well. If you remember from my last video, I mentioned how I stopped doing the Weightlifting.Ai for the last week or so of time before my competition, and that was just because the programming was poor. It was just, I could tell it was not optimal, not what I needed the week before the competition. So no reason to make myself have a bad competition just to prove that the programming is, quite clearly too much for the week before a competition. So I did my own thing. Competition went really well. Some things that, well, I mean, I can't really complain about much because, I mean, I hit a 9 kilogram snatch PR at the competition, a lifetime clean jerk PR. Like clean, but as far as like technical stuff, I don't really want to overanalyze too much of that. I looked at like my jerks on my video, and they definitely didn't feel great. My second attempt was definitely wobbly on the clean and jerk, and that was just because I was pushing my jerks forward, which isn't anything unique. I think one thing that I really need to make sure that I do, and I've done it in past competitions, but that's simply just to bring food with me. I wasn't particularly hungry between the lifts. I don't really get hungry when I am training in general, but because I didn't bring anything, I kind of felt more lethargic before going into clean jerks, and they went well, but I just didn't have that like extra fire, I suppose, to do them, and they still went really well, so I was happy with that. Had plenty of sleep and caffeine, and ate before in the morning and all of that stuff, so it wasn't anything extreme like that. As I know in a couple past competitions I've had, or at least in one that comes to mind, I randomly, like, I didn't intentionally cut weight, but I just like didn't track my food or wasn't really focused on eating, and I lost like 6 or 7 pounds and ended up doing really bad at the competition. Just because I dieted without really wanting to diet. So did a good job of eating a lot. Weighed in. I think this heaviest I've ever weighed at a competition, the 107.75, so just under 108. I obviously wasn't trying to make weight or cut weight or anything like that. I was just trying to eat as much as I could before the competition and see how close I could get to 109, which got pretty close. But I was very happy that I was able to do to warm up really effectively for the snatch and get up and open at 120, which I would have been happy if I just hit that. But then obviously I was able to get up to 125. The attempt that I missed on the 125, I was slightly early, but as I was trying to save the bar in front, my right arm just kind of buckled, not like in a painful way, but it just became unstable, so I just threw it off. And I also wasn't, once it once it rebent or went down, it was obviously not going to be possible to save. And then a similar thing happened on my second clean and jerk, except with my left arm. It just wasn't like obviously painful. It was just weakness because it's a max, super maximal weight, obviously more than I've clean jerked before. So my left arm was kind of wobbly. That's why I was kind of walking forward. Then on the third attempt, the 165, actually my right arm was unstable, but it was more so from the bar placement in my hand. Because I was a little bit early, the bar wasn't in a good spot in my hand. I think it was closer to my fingers than like the center of my palm. So it was not very stable and not a good position to be stable. So my right arm was just kind of was wobbly, and that's when you kind of see me threw it off. But it was really close and would have been really good to be able to get that. I'm getting closer and closer to what my best clean is. So obviously the goal for the future is to improve upon these numbers and hopefully open at 125 and get more than 130, and to obviously get closer to that 170 mark. And no, I don't really ever have any plans on going to nationals, but to get to that, I think it was 308 is what I looked up for the 109 class to qualify for the American Open Finals. So it's definitely moving in that direction in my life and in my training. And I watched another local meet after mine. I listened like the live stream and saw some guys that were doing like 145 and 150 plus snatches and like 180 plus clean and jerks. And just looking at just how they are as like moving adults and people, they're not really like intimidating. When you look at international athletes, and obviously those dudes are roided to the gills, but they move really fast, they move really strong, and they do everything really well. But when you look at just like normal, not roided out American lifters that are doing really good numbers, I mean, like 150, 180 plus, is obviously really good for anyone. But when you see them move, it's not like, wow, they're moving so much faster, or like their mobility so much better, or like they're doing all these things crazily different. They're stronger. And that's really it. And it's hopefully a place I'll be able to be. Lifetime goal obviously 140 plus and 170 plus, and the way things are moving now, hopefully I'll be able to go beyond those numbers. But obviously it's just one step at a time, and the goal is to be able to get up to what I've done. The 135 I've only done once in training with straps, so obviously getting to that point without straps in competition is going to be pertinent to progress. And same with the clean jerks, to be able to clean and jerk my PR clean jerk, and then start approaching that 170 number, which hopefully these are all things I'll be able to do in this calendar year, and start having better and better competitions. But I was extremely happy with how the day went, and couldn't really have asked for better competition. And the fact that I was able to take cracks at really big PRs and increase my competition total and all that good stuff, and feel pretty good leaving the competition. It was really awesome. After the comp, because it was such a little meet, I won the best lifter or male lifter there, and I actually got like a book, the Atomic Habits book, and a T-shirt and stuff. So kind of benefit of doing local meets. There's no competition, you kind of win by default, and you get little stuff. But the venue that I was at, they always do a good job of running meets, so it's always really nice. The competition director, or at least the guy that owns the gym, was trying to work the system to give me a little bit extra time on my last clean and jerk. So I had the 2 minute time, and we increased. So I think it automatically went up to 163, and so we waited a little bit, increased it to 165, and then he was like, "Oh, the platform looks dusty," and they had him go and clean the platform, and that gave me a little bit more time as well. So it probably was honestly dusty, because I use a ton of chalk when I lift, so it probably was actually pretty dusty. I think someone actually remarked that when they went out. It's like, oh, it actually is dusty, because I think it probably does that to give people more time before. But making progress. Another day of training, another good week, or a good competition, which are starting to become more frequent, more so than the first few, or at least a couple where I had some bad ones and ones I underperformed. But I know there's a lot of extra time of black space in this video, but I kind of wanted to get all my thoughts out about the competition, and hopefully you can continue to see my progress, and I don't suck. So with that being said, I'll talk to you all in the next one. Peace.